A couple of days ago, on May 10th, the Dutch cruise ship Hondius arrived at the port of Tenerife in the Canary Islands. There are dead bodies on board. Several passengers in critical condition were airlifted by helicopters. Their lungs are filled with fluid and they are literally drowning from the inside. The whole internet is losing its mind. Everyone is screaming about a new COVID, closed borders and a global lockdown. But while the crowd is panicking, smart people is doing something completely different. Today we are digging into the truth. In the next 10 minutes we'll break down the Hantavirus in plain English and see what's really going on. We'll find out why the Hondius strain scared the hell out of epidemiologists, how exactly it kills, and why guys on Polymarket poured $6 million to short this apocalypse. We are going to get the real biological picture of what's happening, not the garbage they are feeding you on other channels right now. Forget everything you know from 2020. We are used to viruses being invisible, airborne, spreading from a sneeze a meter away and staying symptom-free for days. The Hantavirus doesn't work like that at all. It's a killer. And the main problem today isn't that the virus suddenly mutated to take over the world. The problem is that someone on these luxury cruise ships is creating the perfect conditions for pathogens like this to cause an absolute slaughter. But before we start, smash that like button right now and check if you're subscribed. I do the research and give you a kind of information you won't find anywhere else. And drop a comment right now. Do you think we are really facing a new global lockdown, or it's just a massive media bubble? Let's see who we have more of, panickers or realists. Alright, let's dive into the biology. Where did this even come from? The Hondius strain was first found in Patagonia in the mid-90s, and it immediately shocked scientists. Regular hantaviruses found in Europe or Asia are a classic mouse story. Rodents leave droppings in a barn somewhere, it dries up and turns into dust. A human goes in to clean up, breathes in that dust and ends up in the ICU. And that's where the chain ends. A normal hantavirus is a dead end for infection. It doesn't spread from human to human. But the Hondius strain is a mutant that hacked the system. It's the only hantavirus variant in the world that can spread directly between people. And here is exactly how it kills. It doesn't burn out your lungs on its own like some other infections do. It acts in a much sneakier and scarier way. The virus makes your own immune system go crazy. It causes such a strong reaction in the body that the blood vessels in your lungs start leaking. The lungs fill up with blood plasma and the person just drowns from the inside in their own fluid. In severe cases, the mortality rate hits over 60%. 60%, it's not a joke. Now let's go back to the cruise ship. On April 1st, the Hondius leaves the port of Ushuaia in Argentina. On board, tourists from all over the world are ready for a luxury vacation, but patient zero is already among them. The incubation period for hantavirus can last anywhere from 1 to 8 weeks. The person walks around the decks, eats in the buffet, chats with people and has no idea there is a biological time bomb ticking inside him. On April 24th, the first critical patient gets evacuated. Then the virus starts taking down the rest. Doctors test for the usual respiratory bugs and everything comes back clear. Only later, a special PCR test shows the truth. Hantavirus, the Hondius strain. The enclosed space of the ship, shared ventilation and the constant close contact turned the ship into a perfect incubator. On May 10th, the ship docks in Tenerife. There are dead bodies on board and a massive rescue operation begins. The WHO sounds the alarm, and what do you think the media does? They see the world's hantavirus, human-to-human transmission and a huge mortality rate, and journalists instantly start such a massive panic that news feeds just explode with headlines about a new COVID. But watch closely. While regular people read these articles and freak out, traders and crypto guys enter the game. Prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi go absolutely crazy. On Polymarket, a contract is launched on whether the WHO will declare a new pandemic. In just a couple of days, over $6 million pour in. The pandemic probability chart shoots to the moon, hitting almost 33%. On the regulated exchange Kalshi, people are betting hundreds of thousands of dollars on whether whether an international health emergency will be declared. Just think about how surreal this is. A medical tragedy on a closed ship essentially turned into high-frequency trading on human survival. British medical journals like the BMJ started publishing highly critical articles. Doctors are outraged about people betting on death, and regulators are demanding to ban it all because it's simply unethical. The platforms defend themselves, saying they're just giving society a tool to assess risks. But let's drop the emotions and use pure cold logic. Why did this massive hype on Polymarket start dying down just a couple of days later? Why did the probability of the pandemic crash from 33% down to 9%? Why did smart money start aggressively shorting this bubble? It all comes down to biology. Big money doesn't believe headlines. They hire epidemiologists and read scientific papers. Yes, the Andes strain spreads from person to person, but how exactly? It needs super close physical contact, sleeping in the same small room, exchanging physical fluids, or taking care of a sick person without protection. This is not COVID, where you can catch it just by walking through a grocery store after someone sneezed. The Hantavirus has one fundamental biological barrier that stops it from taking all over the world. It kills too effectively. It takes down its host so quick and so hard that the person simply doesn't have the time or energy to walk around the city and spread the disease. As soon as symptoms appear, the patient can't take the subway, go to work, or party at a club. They are completely bedridden. The virus literally has no mechanism to build quiet, invisible chains of infection among millions of people. It burns its bridges way faster than it can build them. Now let's apply this to how betting works on Polymarket. For you to win a bet on a pandemic, the World Health Organization must officially release the document with that exact word by December 31st, 2026. The rules are extremely strict. Panic tweets, TikTok videos, or local outbreaks mean absolutely nothing. Only hardcore bureaucracy matters. Traders looked at the biological limits of the Andes strain and saw how slow the WHO is and realized one simple thing: a bureaucratic machine will never declare a pandemic over a virus that can't sustain massive global spread. The whales simply took this fact and crushed the crowd's panic with their money. So, what's the practical takeaway for you and me? Number one, breathe out. There won't be any new COVID coming out of this story. The ship was isolated. The ship was unloaded in Tenerife. The people were isolated, and the local outbreak will be shut down. The Andes strain will remain a scary but very local threat. Number two, and most importantly, stop consuming news like everyone else. The next time every single screen is screaming about a new apocalypse, virus, or nuclear war, don't run to the store to buy canned goods. Open Polymarket. See where the real money is going. The gap between clickbait headlines on X and cold, hard numbers on the blockchain, that is where the truth lives. Crowd panic is always the best liquidity for people who know how to calculate probabilities. By the way, speaking of making money and probabilities, if you want to look at the market with a clear head, make sure to join my X or Telegram channels. The links are in the description. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and remember, the best antivirus against any information noise is critical thinking. That's all from me for now. Bless you.